Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Ellie and this is Powerful Imperfection, where we talk about all things personal finance, debt freedom and payoff, and getting toward financial independence. Today we're going to talk about my debt payoff plan and my debts. These are real numbers, full transparency, but to give you some background into my debt history. Basically, currently I have only student loan debt. I've really never had consumer debt on credit cards or anything like that. I've never had a car loan or anything of that regard. I do have credit cards. The credit card debt that I've held in the past was actually used to pay for some of my college. So I haven't used it as consumer debt. I used it as another student loan. So pretty well all of my debt history is regarding student loans. And that is my only current debt as well. So let's get into some of the numbers. Okay, so I have 2 degrees. This is the information for the first degree. And the first degree, the math set me on fire to really get into debt payoff and on this path to financial independence. It was in the math of this about 6 years ago. So just kind of jumping into the numbers here. These are the original amounts that I took out in loans. So the loans here, $75,376.12 was originally what I took out for my first degree. These are the percentages for interest. These are the percentages of interest whenever I paid them off. These are the current ones. The private loans, which are all of the 1600 numbers, those are all variable interest. So those have climbed through the years since I took out the loans. Whereas the ones that are 1-13, 14, and 16 are all federal loans. Those were consolidated in 2006. So those are fixed amounts. So those percentages hasn't changed over the years. These are the current balances for my January 13th, 2020. On the 13th to the 11th, somewhere around there, I always take my balances for my loans, and that was the start of the year balances. So we're at $53,828.64 for my first degree loans. Now I do have 2 degrees, so we'll get into those numbers here in a moment. Anyway, so some highlights to notice on this. Over 8% interest on 2 of these loans, which is why I paid them off quickly, even though one of them was a $10,000 loan. So that took a while. The other highlight is that even though these loans are quite old, I am still over the original amount, even though I've been making regular payments on these loans. So this starts where I start getting mad about my debt. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not mad about student loan companies. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I hate Sally Mae and that sort of thing. But they did give me the opportunity to go to school. I made poor decisions. So I take full responsibility for this. I was young and dumb, and now I'm paying a lot of stupid tax. So just so we're clear, I am not angry at the student loan company. I do want them out of my life, but this was me and this was my decision. So that's where I stand on that. So going into the math of what made me what Dave Ramsey considers gazelle intense, basically wanting to pay off my loans as quickly as possible. I started doing the math about 6 years ago, and I started getting mad when I figured out how much I was paying per month and still not making any dent on these loans. So jumping into the math, this looks like a pretty good payoff amount. However, only back to the beginning of 2018, I was just under the original principal amount for my balance. So this is almost like day zero. And then I had only made $4,000 of a dent throughout 2018. And then I got really intense this last year and I've gotten it to the 53,000. So looking at this, I started doing some of the math. I figured out I started paying the loans back in 2007. So from 2007, all of 2007 through all of 2017, it's about 11 years. I did take 2 years of deferment because I went back to school for my second degree. And then that equals 9 years of payments toward these loans. Then I go to how much was I paying on average. So my average monthly payment was about $500. Now, mind that right now my monthly minimum payment is $554, including my second degree. However, that's after paying off 4 of these loans. So 500 is kind of an average over the years. It's been a little bit less. It's been quite a bit more. Whenever I started here, it was about 700 per month. So 500, just for easy math, times 12 months, that's $6,000 per year that I have been paying on these loans as a minimum payment. Then looking at it, $6,000 per year for 9 years is $54,000 to get me to even. So basically, I've been paying over 9 years $54,000 to just keep my loans even, not even really pay off any of those loans. That is the math that made me mad. I can think of a lot of things that I can do with $54,000 or $6,000 per year for that matter, or $500 per month. I can think of a lot of things that I could do and that would make me feel more financially secure if I did not have this payment. So that is the math that led me on this journey. So that is the first degree. Now let's take a look at the second degree. Okay, so the second degree. Now this degree does not make me mad at all. I went back to school and I did take out more loans, which is against originally what I had intended. The plan that I like to follow is Dave Ramsey plan, and that plan is don't go back into debt, don't increase your debt for anything. But I needed to get what they like to say, your shovel, or whenever you're in debt and you're trying to fill everything in, you need a bigger shovel. So that's what I realized after my first degree and working for about 10 years and with that degree, that I needed to get a bigger shovel. Now my first degree, I graduated in 2007. 1 year later was the Great Recession and the beginning of that, and that lasted for like 2 years. So that degree helped me remain employed during that time. So I'm not mad at that degree. It just didn't work out how I had originally planned it in my 18-year-old mind. So I went back to school and I took out $8,000 in loans for an associate's degree. But I also cash flowed. I worked full time during that time. I moved to another state to lower my monthly expenses and my living expenses. So this $8,000 is kind of a small amount compared to actually how much I paid for this degree. But the degree was only probably about $20,000. So it was a lot less than my original degree. I've paid off one of the loans earlier this month, which I will talk about in my budget report. So yay! And then I only have $3,628.62 left for this degree, and that is the next loan that I want to pay off. So that second degree is completely paid off, and then I'm using that degree to pay off my first degree, which is sad. So let's talk about my debt payoff plan. Okay, so this is the debt payoff plan. This is in my bullet journal. This is kind of where I keep all of my thoughts and track things through the year and that sort of thing. So my debt payoff plan, as you can see, I'm hoping to be debt free by 2023. These numbers have been, over the years, moved quite a bit, a lot of times out, because life happens. So the next payoff will be the end of my second degree, and hopefully that'll be in April. I'm actually hoping that it'll actually be in March. Just looking at the numbers, it's kind of projecting to be closer to March, but April will be a good shot too. So I'll be happy either way. These are how the loan amounts have decreased year over year, and how much minimum payments are doing and that sort of thing. So this kind of gives me, when you're in the trenches and you can't see that you're making any kind of progress, this kind of tracking helps. That, okay, I moved the needle again, so we were doing good. This shows me month to month as I make those payoffs and as I make my regular payments, that those amounts are going down. And so this is good motivation for me as well. So this is kind of how I'm tracking that, but this is our goal date, and then we can start building more emergency funds and start investing more and really start living the life that I had dreamed when I was 18. So this is the plan, and I hope this kind of inspires you with the math and that sort of thing to really be able to take a deeper dive into the debts that you have and see that you're putting money towards something that maybe you're just treading water. Just like I was doing on that first loan when I started realizing I need to do something about this, is I'm even with my principal amount, but I've paid $54,000 toward this and have gotten nowhere. So that kind of math, sometimes if you're a nerd like I am, then that kind of math kind of sets you on fire to start focusing. And then whenever you start focusing, you can start making a dent in it. So I hope this all helps. Real numbers and full transparency of where I'm at with my debt. And now we can track how intensity and focus can help get us to our end goals. So I hope this helps, and I'll see you on the next one. If you like this kind of content, please give it a thumbs up and a like, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.